The first dilemma is from Kia. Hey Jordan, how can I improve on my self-esteem and self-worth? Okay Kia, so I definitely struggled with self-esteem and self-worth for the vast majority of my life. And what I've learned over time is that your self-esteem and your self-worth are largely predicated on your willingness to be your authentic self. What do I mean by that? Imagine the cells in your body. Every cell in your body comes into its life with a sense of purpose. It has a preordained purpose. Your kidney cells, for example, are meant to operate within your kidneys, whereas your heart cells are meant to operate within your heart. If one of your kidney cells tried to mimic the life of a heart cell, for example, it would not be able to operate with the same level of assertiveness as it would if it simply stuck to its preordained path. Now, I'm not saying this to say that you need to pigeonhole yourself into just being one thing. As a matter of fact, I'd advise you to do the exact opposite. I would advise you to expand as much as you possibly can into as many different endeavors as you possibly can. However, this expansion must begin with you being your authentic self. You figure out who you are and who you came here to be, and then you expand upon that, as opposed to trying to be like somebody else and then constantly searching for yourself through other people. This is a mistake that I made for the vast majority of my life, and I think it comes down to childhood trauma. You guys hear me talk about childhood trauma in my videos all the time, and that is for a very good reason. 98 to 99% of the insecurities that you face today, which are literally the only things preventing you from having self-esteem, from having confidence, from feeling worthy of love and abundance and any other thing that you may ever want in your life, 98 to 99% of these insecurities were developed in your formative years. Now, what do you do with this information? You look back and you figure out what events or situations caused you to develop the insecurities which are preventing you from being your true self. I believe that this is a part of everybody's purpose. I believe that we all come here knowing exactly what we are here to do, who we are here to be, but because we are exposed to other people who have experienced trauma in their own right, we are polluted, and our purpose is polluted by extension. And because we are no longer in connection and alignment with our purpose, we lose our sense of self, and thus we lose our sense of self-esteem and self-worth and confidence. You will always be the most confident when you are operating within the realm of who you came here to be. Now, Kia, I can't tell you who you came here to be. I cannot tell you that. Nobody can tell you that, in fact. You already know it deep down. The problem is that the answer is simply polluted by all of the insecurities that you've developed throughout your life, and more specifically, during your childhood. Figure out what caused you to develop these insecurities, and once you allow yourself to not even necessarily clear the insecurities, but make your peace with the insecurities, you'll find that your sense of self will largely integrate these insecurities into your purpose, into the grand scheme of who you came here to be, and then you'll find a deeper sense of purpose. You'll find a sense of purpose that is not just predicated on you expressing who you are, but is also predicated on helping other people do the same. Now, everybody's going to have a unique way of doing that. For me, it comes in the form of making videos like this, as well as writing books like the books that I've written and the books that I'm currently working on. But for you, it might be through painting, it might be through being an engineer. There's a lot of different ways that you can spread light and help other people by using your passions and using your gifts, your natural gifts. That's another thing. You need to make good use of the gifts that you came into this life with. Everybody comes into this life with natural proclivities towards certain things. And it's very easy to become envious of other people who maybe have different gifts, which maybe even are valued more in the free market economy. But what you have to understand is that if you maximize your personal gifts, the resources will come to you, because everything that you see around you, this whole entire life that we've come to know as reality, is a system. It's all one big system, and we are simply vessels of the system. We are cells of the universal body. Whatever that means to you is what it means to you. You can change the terminology however you want, but the truth remains the same, that we are all inextricably intertwined and interconnected. You can see us as being connected through faith, through spirituality, or even through our subconscious minds. But no matter what your belief system is, we are all connected. And because of this, our purpose will always be to help one another by using our natural gifts. Again, the kidney cell is going to have a different set of gifts than the heart cell. But if the kidney cell looks at the heart cell and says, oh, well, the body can survive without a kidney, it can't survive without the heart, so I must be less important. That line of thinking is what creates disease. Of course, in that case, it would be in the context of our bodies, but in the grand scheme of reality, when we look at the universal body, that's what creates disease in the sense of trauma. And that's why we perpetuate the pollution of our purposes. In other words, by using your gifts, you are bringing light to this world and you are bringing clarity to the other components of this system, the other cells of this universal body. All of our purposes have that one thing in common. We all come here with the underlying intention of uplifting everybody else by using our gifts. We are using our gifts to bring us to the present in order to shine our inner light so that other people can look within, beyond their inner pollution, and find their inner gifts, and so on and so forth. Perpetuate the cycle. This is where the term light worker comes from. I don't believe that there are a limited number of light workers on this planet. I believe that we are all light workers. We are all here to spread light and spread love and help other people find their gifts so that the whole entire system can operate at optimal efficiency. But obviously, things don't always work out that way because people fall victim to their insecurities. They fall victim to this notion that their purpose is less important than other people's purposes. They say, oh, well, that person is good at a skill that makes more money than the skill that I'm good at, so they must be more important than me. And that is a major flaw, is placing your self-worth outside of yourself or making your self-worth relative to other people. This is why a lot of people struggle with self-esteem, is because they are placing their self-worth or their sense of self outside of themselves. They are not judging themselves in an objective manner, which the only objective way to judge yourself is to understand that you're unique and that you cannot be compared to anybody else, but rather they're judging themselves relative to everyone else, and they're always falling short as a result, and they lack confidence. And I'd reckon that this is how the majority of people on this planet think, is they judge themselves relative to other people, and because of that, they always feel like they are not worthy of their own love. They assume that they're not worthy of love from other people because they're not meeting the expectations that they've set for themselves based on what they think other people are valued at in society. But in all actuality, like I said earlier, your true worth is not found in relativity. Your true worth is absolute. We all have the same worth. Otherwise, we would not be here. Consider the statistical probability of you even being born. If we're talking about being in the 1%, being in the top 5%, whatever, from the moment you were born, you were already more successful than you could ever be on this planet. There is nothing that you can do while you are alive on this planet that can surpass the miracle of you even being born in the first place, statistically speaking. Nothing that you can do. So understand that you've already done the most difficult thing that you will ever have to do in your life. And because of that, just know that you are worthy. If you weren't worthy, you would not be here. You would not be here. We can look at this from a scientific perspective, or we can look at this from a spiritual perspective. The fact of the matter is that if you were not worthy of your own love, you would literally not exist. You wouldn't exist. So when you take things into account, if we're talking about relativity, okay, even if you use that same mechanism and you put things into perspective in that way, you realize that, wait a minute, even if I use that same mechanism, if you simply look at more information, you take more information into account, you realize that, wait a minute, I actually am worthy. I'm worthy of my own love, and although I may not necessarily receive love from all other people, nobody's love for me can compare to my love for myself, because I'm the only person that could ever truly know myself inside and out.